Hannah and Paul, may you have a joyful life together. One filled with a love that bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. May your love for each other continue to grow so that together you have the strength to take on anything. May your joy be complete as you love and honor each other all the days of your life.
I'm getting excited. Paul's the guy that you hope will marry your best friend. He can put a smile on Hannah's face when she's having a rough day, and he can always seem to make her laugh even when she tries not to. I used to love seeing Hannah jump up off the couch when she heard or saw Paul's car pulling up in the driveway, and it was adorable and absolutely hilarious because they were so excited to see each other, and it had only been like maybe a day. So it was always a really good time though when Paul would come over because he had to deal with Hannah and I's weird sound effects, or when Hannah and I would say the exact same thing at the exact same time. Hannah and I always joked about, we lived together actually for pretty much, for like 6 years. And we always joked that we were only a couple years away from a common law marriage because we lived together for so long. And then Paul had to come along. I'm kidding. But that's the great thing about them as a couple. I never felt out of place. I was hanging out with them because I wasn't hanging out with Hannah and her boyfriend. I was hanging out with two of my greatest friends. Yeah. But one of the toughest parts about living 13 hours from Kansas City meant that I was living 13 hours away from my best friend. I wasn't able to call Hannah up and ask her to meet me somewhere or tell her to come over so we could binge watch reality TV, eat a whole pan of brownies, and have a glass of wine or a bottle. I feel like a friendship like ours is very, very rare to find. She's always been the person I can count on when the road's bumpy, and she's the most caring and supportive and thoughtful, beautiful person I've ever met inside and out, and I'm very blessed to call you my best friend. There's a quote that I thought that was perfect for us, and it says, we weren't sisters by birth, but we knew from the start fate brought us together to be sisters by heart. But I love you guys so much and wish you all the happiness in the world.
He asked me to be his best man when we were in Arizona, actually, at a Chiefs game. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, we're drinking beers, and he looks over and he's like, hey, you want to be my best man? And I'm like, yeah, sure. The first time we met, we were playing Little League football. So imagine the bond you would have made. We're doing practices together, running all those sprints, gassers, everything together. Think how awesome that would have been. Dean was even a coach. But there was only one problem with that, is that me and Paul weren't on the same team. And our teams hated each other. So I won't go into the details of who owned the rivalry or who won more Super Bowls. But let's just say when Paul got to high school, he was more than excited to play on my team. So we became really good friends in high school, always staying out of trouble, studying on the weekends when our friends were out, and just really keeping our nose in the textbooks. And God, that's not true. So then Paul and I went off to college. I went to a small school in Iowa, Paul went to K-State. So I get a phone call one day, and Paul's excited to tell me about this girl he met. He's telling me about how great she is. I'm like, all right, just give me a name. So after I stalked her on Facebook, I was just like, see what she's all about. I get on Facebook, I stalked her for a couple months. We're basically best friends before I even know her. And yeah. I'm glad that he met Hannah, and I've never seen Paul so happy. So the rest is history. You got my best friend, and I couldn't be more happy it was you. I know I was chosen to be the best man here, but everyone in here knows that Paul's really the best man tonight. So if everyone put your drinks up, and cheers to Paul and Hannah. Salud.
Undersold that one. Like, that's just a little bit.
I know I speak for all of us when I say that we are all happy to be here today, surrounding you with our love and support, as you promise to love and honor each other for all the days of your life, which we hope will be a very long time. My dear friends, you've come together in this church so that the Lord may seal and strengthen your love in the presence of the church's minister and this community of your family and friends. Christ abundantly blesses this love. I, Paul, take you, Hannah, to be my wife. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. I will love you and honor you.
I will love you and honor you
all the days of my life.
all the days of my life.
I, Hannah, take you, Paul, to be my husband. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. I will love you and honor you all the days of my life. Hannah and Paul, you have declared your consent before the church. May the Lord in His goodness strengthen your consent and fill you both with His blessings. What God has joined, no one must divide. At the end of this ceremony, it gives me a great honor and a privilege to introduce to you publicly for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Paul Prather.
You know, I think the two biggest gifts that a parent can give a child are roots and independence. Well, Hannah, you've clearly grown your wings and fled the nest, honey, but always remember that you've got love and stability within your family unit. She has graduated from K-State. She's wrapping up her graduate work at KU, and she's on the verge of starting a very exciting and rewarding career in the field of audiology. Most importantly, Hannah has chosen Paul to spend the rest of her life with. In Paul, we think Hannah has met her perfect partner. In the few short years that Liz and myself have known Paul, we have found him everything one could ask for in a son-in-law. Paul is smart, sensible, an avid Royals fan, and a pretty damn good golfer, too. I would just like to close with a very simple gesture of, may you all be blessed with happiness that grows and with love that lasts for a peaceful life together. I wish you enjoyment for today, the fulfillment of all your hopes and dreams for tomorrow, with peace and happiness forever. Now it is my pleasure to propose a toast to the happy couple. Would y'all please raise your glasses? To the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Prather.